I'm about to show you the exact 1-minute morning habit that can help support clearer, more comfortable vision for anyone over the age of 60. Waking up with blurry, severely tired, or painfully dry eyes is a highly frustrating daily problem that many seniors face, creating a lot of quiet, persistent uncertainty about whether their eyesight is permanently failing or declining faster than it should. Your doctor might have briefly handed you standard artificial tear eye drops, or simply told you this daily discomfort is just a normal, expected part of aging, which is often incomplete and not fully helpful information for improving your daily quality of life. I have seen this exact frustrating scenario countless times throughout my many years of helping older adults find practical, gentle ways to protect and support their delicate vision as they get older. I remember a man named Arthur, who was 72 years old, struggling every single morning with a thick, blurry film over his eyes that made reading his morning paper or checking his daily medications almost impossible. He honestly thought his glasses prescription was rapidly deteriorating week by week and felt quite concerned about slowly losing his independence to navigate his own home safely during those early hours. After we adjusted his morning routine to simply include this specific 1-minute habit before leaving his bed, his morning blurriness significantly reduced, and his eyes felt refreshed, clear, and remarkably stable much earlier in the day. Before we dive in, drop a comment telling me where you're watching from and whether you've struggled with this eye problem before. I want to hear your experience. 1. The 1-minute thermal palming habit. Rub your hands together vigorously to create a substantial amount of natural heat and then carefully cup them gently over your closed eyes immediately upon waking up, before you even attempt to get out of bed or check the time. This gentle, natural, and completely free source of warmth helps to deeply soothe the resting ocular nerves and strongly encourages better, more efficient blood circulation around the delicate eye area to noticeably reduce early morning stiffness. When we wake up, our eyes very often feel rigid, scratchy, or uncomfortably dry because the protective tear film has settled unevenly over the night, and the surrounding supportive muscles have been completely inactive for several long hours. By introducing immediate gentle warmth straight from your own hands, you are essentially signaling to the tiny, fragile blood vessels and essential moisture glands around your eyes that it is time to gently wake up and begin to function properly without shocking them with harsh, bright bedroom lights. I remember a woman named Margaret, who was 68 years old, dealing with severe, frustrating eye strain and a heavy, profoundly tired feeling the very moment she opened her eyes each morning to start her day. She used to immediately reach over to her nightstand for her bright, glaring smartphone to check the time and read family messages, which terribly shocked her unadjusted eyes and made the deep, aching and gritty dryness significantly worse. We successfully replaced that harsh, unnatural morning screen time with exactly 1 minute of dedicated thermal palming before she even moved the heavy covers to leave her warm bed. Her morning eye fatigue improved drastically within just a few short days, allowing her to smoothly start her daily routine without that familiar heavy, strained, and blurry sensation that used to slow her down. When you sleep peacefully through the long night, the tiny, complex muscles surrounding your aging eyes can naturally become somewhat stiff and tight, and the local blood circulation can slow down considerably, leading to that puffy, swollen, and deeply tired feeling upon waking. Applying mild, natural body heat directly to the closed eyelids helps to gently and safely wake up these sensitive tissues without causing any sudden, jarring stress or requiring complex morning stretching routines. It also highly encourages the natural, vital oils located deep within your microscopic eyelid glands to soften, melt slightly, and flow much more easily, which is absolutely essential for maintaining a smooth, clear, and perfectly stable tear film over the surface of the aging eye. This straightforward, simple practice does not require any special, expensive equipment, messy medicinal creams, or potentially dangerous electrical heating pads, making it entirely safe, completely free, and easily accessible for any older adult to perform safely in bed. To do this correctly and get the absolute maximum benefit, before you get out of bed or even turn on your bright bedside lamp, simply sit up slightly against your soft pillows and rub your bare, clean palms together, briskly for about 10 to 15 seconds until they feel noticeably warm and energized to the touch. Close your eyes completely and lightly cup the warm, fleshy base of your palms directly over your bony eye sockets, making absolutely sure not to press directly or heavily on the fragile eyeballs themselves, as that can cause unnecessary, uncomfortable pressure. Rest your warm hands softly in this soothing, protective position for about 45 to 60 full seconds, taking slow, deep, calming breaths while the natural warmth transfers safely and effectively to your closed eyelids. This helps support more comfortable, significantly steadier vision right from the very start of your morning day. 2. Immediate morning hydration for tear film stability. Drink 12 to 16 ounces of plain, room temperature water entirely before having your morning coffee, black tea, or any other heavily caffeinated breakfast beverage. Replenishing your body's essential water supply immediately upon waking provides the necessary internal fluid required to produce high-quality, perfectly stable tears that actively prevent annoying morning blurry vision. During a full night of restful sleep, the human body naturally and invisibly loses a very significant amount of its stored water through continuous breathing and mild nocturnal perspiration, leaving almost everyone mildly dehydrated by the time morning arrives. Providing an immediate, generous supply of fresh water first thing in the morning provides a deeply refreshing flush of internal moisture, giving your body the exact vital resources it needs to naturally lubricate the dry ocular surface. A very common mistake many older adults make is heading straight to the kitchen to brew a strong pot of coffee or tea while their body is still in a deeply dehydrated morning state. Because the eyes are highly sensitive, complex organs, they are often one of the very first places to show physical signs of this internal lack of moisture, resulting in a gritty, sandy feeling beneath the eyelids. If you wake up and immediately consume strong caffeine, which acts as a mild diuretic, you actively pull even more precious moisture away from your bodily tissues, severely compromising your already struggling eye hydration. Simply changing the strict order of your morning drinks ensures that your eyes have the physical water volume necessary to flush out overnight debris and maintain a perfectly smooth, completely clear focusing surface. I remember a man named Robert, who was 74 years old, constantly complaining that his vision fluctuated wildly and felt terribly scratchy during his quiet morning reading sessions in his favorite armchair. He was starting his long day with 2 extra large cups of strong, hot black coffee and absolutely no plain water, severely dehydrating his already fragile, aging tear film right from the moment he woke up. Once he finally started strictly drinking a full, tall glass of room temperature water before he was allowed to touch his coffee maker, his highly annoying morning dry eye symptoms became much less frequent and severe. His morning vision stabilized noticeably because his aging eyes finally had the basic, fundamental internal hydration they desperately needed to function properly. The protective tear film that covers the delicate front surface of your eye is predominantly made of pure water, combined with a delicate balance of vital mucus and natural oils to keep it clinging to the eye. When your entire body is even slightly dehydrated from a long night of sleep, your tear glands physically cannot produce enough liquid volume to maintain this thick, protective, and clarifying layer over your vision. This lack of fluid volume causes the tear film to break apart rapidly between your normal blinks, leaving raw, dry spots on the eye that scatter incoming light and cause that highly frustrating, hazy, blurry vision you experience in the morning. A recent clinical study observing older adults highlighted that simply increasing plain morning water intake directly improved the measurable stability of the tear film within just a few days. Drinking a large glass of plain water immediately upon waking swiftly sends hydration directly into your bloodstream, which eventually reaches the tiny tear glands, ensuring they have the raw materials to produce comfortable, clear tears. Keep a clean covered glass or a dedicated, easy-to-open bottle of plain, room temperature water right on your bedside nightstand before you go to sleep every single night. As soon as you finish your 1-minute thermal palming habit and finally sit up on the edge of your mattress, reach for this water and drink the entire glass steadily at a comfortable, natural pace. Wait for a minimum of 15 to 20 full minutes after drinking this essential water before you head to the kitchen to pour your very first cup of hot morning coffee or caffeinated tea. This helps support more comfortable, significantly steadier vision throughout your entire morning routine. 3. Strategic natural light exposure. Step safely outside onto a porch, or simply sit very close to a wide-open window to get 5 to 10 uninterrupted minutes of natural daylight within the very first hour of waking up. Gentle, direct exposure to natural outdoor sunlight helps properly and smoothly regulate your internal circadian rhythm and strongly signals the aging eyes to fully awaken and adjust to sharp daytime visual contrast. Natural outdoor sunlight contains a very specific, highly balanced, and powerful spectrum of natural light that ordinary indoor household bulbs and modern electronic device screens simply cannot replicate for human biology. When bright natural light safely enters the waking eye, it sends crucial, powerful chemical signals deep into the brain that it is officially daytime, which helps optimize the vital function of the retina and the surrounding supportive eye structures. I remember a woman named Helen, who was 65 years old, struggling with a highly sluggish, terribly foggy feeling in her eyes, and poor contrast vision well into the late hours of her morning. She was spending her first few hours awake entirely inside a dark, dimly lit kitchen, relying only on a small, weak artificial overhead light while quietly eating her daily breakfast. We successfully changed her morning routine, so she intentionally drank her morning water outside on her back porch, safely exposing her eyes to natural, indirect daytime sunlight for just 10 minutes. Her eyes adjusted much faster to different indoor lighting conditions, and she no longer felt that prolonged, deeply frustrating morning visual fogginess that used to bother her. As we naturally get older, the crystal clear lens inside the human eye can gradually become slightly thicker and less perfectly transparent, meaning less actual light successfully reaches the sensitive retina at the back of the eye. This perfectly normal aging change makes older adults highly dependent on good, strong, natural lighting to see edges, read fine print, and correctly distinguish between similar, dark colors in their environment. By deliberately exposing your eyes to natural, unfiltered daylight early in the morning, you force the pupil to contract and the internal focusing muscles to engage naturally, effectively preparing the visual system for the rest of the day. This simple morning light exposure physically prepares your aging eyes to handle the harsh glare of modern indoor lighting and the intense brightness of grocery store aisles without feeling instantly fatigued. Within the very first 60 minutes of physically waking up and leaving your bed, safely step outside onto a secure porch, a sturdy balcony, or simply open a large, clear window that lets in direct, bright outdoor daylight. Sit comfortably and securely in a chair and gently look out toward the distant horizon, the trees, or the open sky for about 5 to 10 full minutes without wearing dark sunglasses, though you should absolutely never stare directly into the bright sun itself. If the local weather is deeply poor, heavily raining, or extremely cold, simply sitting right next to a very bright, completely unobstructed window indoors will still provide a highly significant biological benefit compared to remaining in a dark room. This helps support more comfortable, significantly steadier vision as your eyes naturally and safely adjust to the bright day. 4. The golden eye breakfast pairing. Eat a small, easily manageable portion of dark, leafy green vegetables paired specifically and intentionally with a healthy, natural source of dietary fat during your very first meal of the day. Consistently combining these specific, highly beneficial nutrients ensures that your aging digestive system can actually absorb the vital, vision-supporting plant compounds your delicate macula desperately needs to stay healthy and functional. Dark green vegetables contain incredibly crucial plant nutrients that essentially act as a strong natural filter for your fragile eyes, actively protecting the sensitive retina from cumulative daily light damage and harmful oxidative stress. However, many seniors completely miss out on these powerful protective benefits because they eat their morning greens entirely wrong, severely limiting how much of the good nutrition actually makes it to their aging eyes. A very common and completely understandable dietary mistake older adults make is trying to eat extremely low-fat diets to protect their general health, unintentionally starving their eyes of essential nutrition in the process. The specific plant compounds found in dark greens that protect your vision are entirely dependent on the presence of dietary fat to be broken down and transported through the bloodstream. If you eat a completely dry bowl of plain spinach or steam your morning kale without adding a single drop of healthy oil, your body physically cannot unlock or absorb the eye-protecting nutrients locked inside the tough leaves. By intelligently pairing these powerful greens with a healthy, natural, and gentle fat source, you successfully unlock the nutrients and allow them to travel directly to the vulnerable eye tissues where they are needed the absolute most. The central part of your retina, called the macula, is directly responsible for your sharp, detailed, straight-ahead vision that you use for reading books, safely driving a car, and recognizing the faces of your loved ones. This tiny area of the eye naturally requires a constant daily supply of specific yellow and orange plant pigments to rebuild its protective shields and filter out harsh, damaging light from modern screens and the sun. Because the human body cannot manufacture these essential protective pigments on its own, you must consistently acquire them through your daily diet, specifically from deeply colored green vegetables. Adding a healthy fat acts as a necessary vehicle, physically binding to these vital pigments in your stomach and carrying them safely through the digestive tract so they can be securely deposited directly into the center of your eye. Prepare a small, highly manageable handful of fresh, washed spinach, tender kale, or dark Swiss chard along with your standard daily breakfast, perhaps gently scrambling it directly into your warm morning eggs. Crucially, ensure you intentionally include a high-quality, natural fat source alongside the greens, such as half of a soft, fresh avocado, a small spoonful of rich, extra virgin olive oil, or a small handful of finely crushed plain walnuts. Eat this delicious combination together slowly, taking the proper time to chew your food thoroughly to aid your aging digestive process and ensure maximum nutrient extraction from the tough vegetable leaves. This helps support more comfortable, significantly steadier vision by steadily and reliably nourishing the deep internal structures of your eyes. 5. The far distance focus shift. Shift your gaze to a distant object located at least 20 feet away immediately after reading your daily morning paper or looking closely at your bright tablet screen for 20 uninterrupted minutes. This highly simple, beautifully intentional physical adjustment allows the tiny, severely overworked focusing muscles located deep inside your aging eyes to completely relax, safely reset, and properly recover, greatly reducing the heavy, deep, aching strain that steadily builds up during those quiet close-up morning tasks. By actively choosing to look away from your nearby reading materials, you give your entire visual system a desperately needed, highly refreshing moment of complete stillness before the fatigue becomes painful or permanent. I remember a man named Thomas, who was 69 years old, experiencing a deep throbbing ache directly behind his eyes every single morning after spending a quiet hour reading his favorite daily news on a small digital tablet in his armchair. He was intensely staring at the tiny, bright, illuminated text without ever looking away or taking a single break, causing his internal eye muscles to completely lock up and violently spasm in sheer, overwhelming exhaustion. We simply introduced a strict, easy rule where he had to physically look out his large living room window at a very distant oak tree for a full minute after reading just a few short articles. His persistent morning eye ache and the resulting frustrating blurry distance vision faded away almost entirely, allowing him to easily enjoy his daily reading habit safely and without any painful lingering consequences. When you stare intensely at anything physically held very close to your face, such as a large printed newspaper, a challenging morning crossword puzzle, or a glowing mobile phone screen, the delicate internal ring of muscle inside your eye has to physically contract incredibly tightly to keep those nearby small words in perfect, sharp focus. If you continuously force this tiny, fragile muscle to stay firmly contracted for long, entirely uninterrupted periods of time, it naturally becomes profoundly fatigued and temporarily loses its essential ability to relax when you finally look up, causing distant room objects to appear highly blurry and out of focus for several confusing minutes. By deliberately and regularly breaking this intense, demanding, near-point visual stress, you are physically allowing that exhausted internal muscle to stretch out safely, rest peacefully, and slowly recover its natural, youthful flexibility before it becomes painfully locked in a severe state of morning spasm. Every single 20 minutes while you are gently engaging in any close-up morning activity in your home, consciously and physically stop exactly what you are doing, lower the heavy reading material completely out of your direct line of sight, and intentionally find a specific, clear target that is at least 20 feet away from where you are currently sitting. Look directly and calmly at that distant, stationary object. Whether it is a family picture frame resting at the very end of a long, bright hallway, or a neighbor's parked car sitting quietly across the street, and keep your aging eyes gently focused right on it for 20 full, uninterrupted seconds while taking slow, deep, highly relaxing breaths. This helps support more comfortable, significantly steadier vision by actively and gently preventing deep internal muscle fatigue well before it ever has a chance to ruin your peaceful morning. 6. Gentle morning eyelid hygiene. Gently wipe the delicate, sensitive edges of your upper and lower eyelids with a perfectly clean, warm, lightly damp washcloth immediately after stepping out of your morning shower or finishing your standard bathroom routine. Keeping these tiny, essential eyelash margins perfectly clean and clear actively removes the microscopic buildup of irritating overnight crust and dried, hardened oils that naturally clog the crucial moisture glands lining your aging eyelids while you peacefully sleep. By physically sweeping away this invisible debris first thing in the morning, you actively guarantee that your eyes have the absolute best possible chance to produce the high-quality, soothing tears required to keep your vision crystal clear all day. I remember a woman named Patricia, who was 73 years old, constantly rubbing her severely irritated eyes in sheer frustration every morning because they felt incredibly gritty, as if a handful of rough sand had been permanently trapped beneath her heavily swollen eyelids. She was previously just splashing freezing cold tap water quickly over her tightly closed eyes, which did absolutely nothing to dissolve or clear the stubborn, hardened, waxy buildup stubbornly trapped along her delicate eyelash line. We changed her routine to carefully include a very slow, wonderfully warm and intentional wiping motion horizontally across the exact eyelid margins using a soft, heated washcloth every single morning after she brushed her teeth. Her eyes immediately felt dramatically lighter, instantly refreshed, and entirely free of that horrible, scratching sensation that used to deeply bother her throughout her entire waking day. Along the very rim of your upper and lower eyelids, located exactly right where your individual eyelashes grow out of the skin, there are dozens of microscopic, highly sensitive glands that are solely responsible for pumping out the essential, soothing oils that naturally coat your watery tears and prevent them from evaporating too quickly in the dry indoor air. As older adults naturally age, the vital oils produced by these tiny hidden glands tend to become much thicker and significantly more sluggish, often slowly solidifying overnight into a hard, stubborn, waxy crust that physically blocks the tiny glandular openings and traps the precious oil inside. When you gently sweep a warm, soft cotton cloth across this highly delicate area, the wonderful combination of mild, soothing heat and very gentle physical friction perfectly melts and carefully clears away these stubborn blockages, allowing the fresh, healthy oils to flow freely onto the exposed surface of the eye exactly where they truly belong. Take a very soft, perfectly clean cotton washcloth from your linen closet and run it carefully under comfortably warm bathroom tap water, making absolutely certain the water temperature is highly soothing and not hot enough to accidentally burn or severely irritate your fragile, incredibly thin eyelid skin. Close your eyes very gently without forcefully squeezing the lids tightly shut. and very lightly sweep the warm, damp cloth horizontally across the very edge of your upper and lower eyelids, exactly where the lashes naturally meet the bare skin, moving softly and slowly from the inner corner near your nose to the far outer edge. This helps support more comfortable, significantly steadier vision by safely ensuring your natural tear film remains perfectly smooth, deeply lubricating, and entirely free of irritating microscopic morning debris. 7. The rapid blinking sequence. Perform a highly dedicated sequence of exactly 10 rapid, complete blinks, followed immediately by intentionally keeping your eyes gently and peacefully closed for 3 full seconds, exactly halfway through your normal, quiet morning routine. This highly intentional, deeply physical pumping action forcefully extracts fresh, high-quality, hydrating tears from your dormant morning glands and spreads them perfectly and evenly across the entire exposed surface of your aging, dry eyes to instantly wash away lingering visual blurriness. Taking just a few short moments to actively manually reset your tear film highly prevents the slow, invisible drying process that quietly ruins your ability to focus properly on your daily morning tasks. I remember a man named William, who was 66 years old, finding that his morning vision would randomly become incredibly smeared and highly hazy around 10 o'clock, making it practically impossible for him to safely read his incoming daily mail or enjoy his favorite television programs. He was intensely staring at his daily paperwork with an incredibly slow, entirely incomplete blink rate, essentially starving the fragile front surface of his eye of any protective moisture and causing the vital tear film to severely dry out and physically crack apart. We taught him this very simple, deliberate, rapid blinking sequence, gently reminding him to strictly perform it the exact moment his aging eyes started to feel heavy or his vision started to slightly blur while reading. His morning vision smoothly remained consistently clear and perfectly stable, entirely removing the deeply frustrating daily need to constantly stop his important tasks to vigorously rub his terribly tired, aching eyes. A very recent, well-regarded observational clinical study focusing entirely on older adults clearly highlighted that the natural, automatic human blinking rate tends to slow down significantly and dangerously with advanced age, particularly when seniors are concentrating deeply on quiet, stationary morning tasks like reading books, carefully sewing, or watching a bright morning television program. When you do not consciously blink fully or frequently enough, the incredibly thin, fragile, protective layer of watery tears covering your eye quickly evaporates into the surrounding dry room air, creating microscopic, highly irritating dry spots on the sensitive cornea that physically scatter incoming room light and severely distort your ability to see clearly. By consciously forcing a brief, rapid series of full, completely closed blinks, you physically act exactly like a highly efficient windshield wiper on a car, manually clearing away stagnant, old tears and physically pulling a thick, deeply fresh layer of soothing hydration entirely across the whole viewing surface of your eye. Sit up very straight in a highly comfortable, supportive living room chair and intentionally blink your eyes rapidly but gently exactly 10 times in a row, making absolutely certain that your upper and lower eyelids physically touch each other completely and firmly with every single individual blink. Immediately after the 10th rapid blink is completed, close your eyes softly and intentionally, keep them completely shut in the dark for 3 to 5 full seconds, perfectly allowing the newly pumped moisture to settle evenly and deeply across the entire surface of the eye without evaporating away into the air. This helps support more comfortable, significantly steadier vision by physically and reliably rebuilding your protective tear shield exactly when your aging eyes need it the absolute most during your busy morning. If you know someone over 50 who could benefit from this, share this video and subscribe for more simple health tips.